Hey you guys, it's Carolyn from Homesteading Family, and it's that time of year where people are dealing with coughs and colds again. So today we're going to be talking about really easy and really quick remedies that you can make in your own kitchen that are super effective for coughs. We're going to start with a couple of really quick remedies that you can make up, and then I'm going to show you how to make my absolute favorite remedy for small children and babies who develop a bad cough. Now, one of the easiest remedies that you can make for a cough is just a cup of peppermint tea with a lot of honey in it. That just soothes everything, and if you drink a couple of them during the day, it's going to actually help to loosen up that cough and any of that mucus that's stuck in there. Of course, when you're dealing with a cold or a cough, it's really important to keep your chest and your throat area warm all the time. Scarves, hot teas, heating pads, all of those things are super helpful for keeping that cough or loosening up that cough and getting it to go away. Okay, now another really simple remedy that you can make in your own kitchen that will be ready in a few seconds is called an oxymel. And today we're going to be making a simple oxymel. All we're going to do is take our apple cider vinegar, and this is the raw organic apple cider vinegar. We're going to put, about a tablespoon into a jar. Okay, and then we're going to take some really good quality honey, and we're going to take about an equal amount of that and put that also into our jar. Now, this is such a simple, but it's a really effective remedy. But it gets even more effective if you take a few weeks and brew some cough herbs in here, maybe a hyssop or a thyme, and you let it sit in your apple cider vinegar for a few weeks, strain it out, and then use that apple cider vinegar in this oxymel. Then you can end up with an even more effective thing. But you can use it just like this and it'll work really well. Now we're just going to mix the two together until they're well blended. If your kitchen's really cold and your honey is really cold, then you may want to heat it up just a little bit to make this easier. Okay, now all you're going to do is take this spoonful, about a teaspoon at a time. Take it whenever you need it for a dry cough or when you start getting a little bit of mucus buildup in your throat. You can just take a teaspoon of this at a time throughout the day. It's just honey and vinegar. It's not going to hurt you, so you can take this as often as you want. You can keep this on the counter just about indefinitely. It is just vinegar and honey. Just make sure you keep a lid on it at all times because the fruit flies love this stuff. Okay, now today I really want to show you my absolute favorite remedy for babies with a cough. You can use this on newborns, you can use this on toddlers, you can use this on adults, but what you do need to know is they're gonna stink like garlic because it uses a lot of garlic. Now, garlic is a very, very strong antibacterial and it's an antiviral. So not only is this remedy going to be really good for coughs, but it's also going to be good for anything else that you would use a antibiotic for, something like a fungal rash, diaper rash. This can be really helpful for small cuts or anything that looks like it's starting to get a little bit infected. Anything like this, that can be really, really remedied by this particular combination. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to take about a third cup of coconut oil. Now this is easier if it's not really hard. So you'll want to heat this up maybe just a little bit or bring it up to that softer room temperature, not that really hard coconut oil. And we're going to put that in a high-powered blender. Now if you don't have the high-powered blender like this Vitamix, you can go ahead and make this up in a mortar and pestle, but it does take a lot more time. It's a lot harder to do. You can try it in a food processor, but I don't find that it works quite as well. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take about 3 tablespoons of olive oil and put that right in. Okay, and then we have about 8 medium-sized cloves of garlic here, and they've been peeled. You can see they're between medium to large size. This variety is a variety that we grow here. It's called Swede peas, but you can use whatever you have on the shelf. Okay, and I'm just gonna put all of that in there. Now, if you have a good blender, this should not change the taste of anything you blend in afterwards. Usually the blenders are not very absorbent for smell. However, if you have a lower quality blender, you may want to just make something with garlic after this, because it might leave a little bit of a smell in there. Now we're going to take about 5 to 10 drops of lavender essential oil. Now the essential oil in here does a few different things. One, it does help calm the cough. It helps to calm the child, but it also acts as a little bit of an antimicrobial for the salve itself to help keep that good. It's kind of a preservative for your salve. Okay, now we're gonna get this on the blender, and you'll have to stop and scrape it a few times just to make sure it gets really well blended. Go ahead and work with it as you need to get it blended up as finely as you can. Now, this is really going to liquefy this coconut oil as it works, and that's okay. That's not a problem. Okay, I think I have this all the way blended up. Yeah, that looks great. A few chunks aren't too bad, but it's a lot easier to work with if it's all the way smooth, because you're going to store this in the refrigerator. And so you want to make sure that it's smooth, because this is going to get nice and hard like a salve. Now, as you've noticed, there's no beeswax in this. So this is not a technical salve. That is more the working name that we use in the household, because it resembles a salve once it's gone in that refrigerator. All right, we just want to get all of that out of here. And you can see it's kind of a nice, smooth texture. That garlic smells nice and spicy. It's actually starting to make my nose run just a little bit. All right, that looks good. Okay, so now you have your garlic salve ready. You can go ahead and use it just like this. Since it is still warm, it'll be really easy to put on to a baby. But the way you're going to want to keep it is with a lid on and in the refrigerator. Now, the way to use this is to put it on liberally, like a lotion, onto a child or an adult's whole chest area, their back around their lungs, and up into their neck area, and on the soles of their feet. You want to do this at least 4 times a day for anywhere from a toddler on up to a young child or even an adult. If you are treating a small child, those coughs can get bad really, really quickly. This is good for those croupy coughs. This is good for the deep coughs. This is going to help with all sorts of different coughs, but you need to treat it regularly. Now again, this is just garlic and some oil, so you're not going to harm anybody by putting this on regularly. By regularly, you want to think about putting this on every time you nurse a baby. So every several hours if you're not nursing. This is really going to help to get that garlic right into the bloodstream. Garlic can be absorbed into the bloodstream within about 20 minutes. And so it will fully go into the baby's body, into the bloodstream, and start working as that antibiotic. And garlic does have antiviral properties, so it can even work against viruses. Now, it's really important to keep this up even when the cough slows down or starts to go away. Make sure you keep treating it for a couple of days afterwards. And you're going to notice if you treat a cough regularly, You should notice a significant decrease within the first 24 hours with a baby with a cough. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer as you get older and your body's not quite so responsive to different treatments. This will keep in the refrigerator just fine for up to 2 weeks, so you can keep it on hand, make a larger batch, and have it ready to use whenever you need it. It's important to note that garlic or any remedy like this will not be effective against a whooping cough. You'll need to treat it differently for that. Now, if you're dealing with an older person who has a cough that just won't go away, you may want to check out my video on mustard plasters because that can be really effective. Guys, I think you're going to absolutely love this remedy. It is so easy to make. It's so quick. It's so effective. And I love it that it has things, it only uses things that are already on my shelf or in my kitchen. Stay healthy, you guys. Goodbye.